submitted an LMIA application and you get that email from an officer saying, "I'd like to schedule a call with you in the next 24 or 48 hours. Hi, I'm Jade Calver. I own and operate Calver Immigration Consulting Inc. We're a full-service immigration firm located in Ontario, Canada. We specialize in economic immigration, including LMIA applications. Today I'll be talking about the LMIA interview and what to expect as an employer or an employer's representative during an interview with an officer from Service Canada. So once you've filed an application through either the high wage, the low wage, agricultural, or PR stream, within the processing times, you'll get a request for a phone call from an officer from the government. This phone call is actually the interview which the officer uses to determine if they're going to approve or refuse the application. What will happen is that they'll ask for an interview quite quickly, so within 24 to 48 hours after their email. My tip is to make sure that you are responding to them as quickly as possible, drop everything else that you have, and say, yes, I can attend that interview. Usually the officer from the government wants to speak to you as the employer, but they'll sometimes speak to your representative. Personally, I always sit on the call with my employers, but usually I let the employer take the call. This is why it's especially important to make sure that you review your LMIA application before you have the interview with the government officer. The government officer will want to know a few things. Often, LMIA officers are so busy that they don't have the time to look through the LMIA applications on their own. So they'll go through and ask, what's your business? What's your business number? What's the legal name of your business? Yes, it seems redundant, but they want to make sure that you understand the business and you know the business, even just the basic details of the business. They'll then ask, what is the position you're hiring for and what will the person be doing? You have to be very careful here because the duties that you tell them, they need to match the duties that you put in the LMIA application. Remember from my previous videos, the occupation code determines the wage that you need to pay the foreign workers as well as just the occupation code unto itself. So you need to make sure that everything matches. They may also ask who else is working in the position, making sure that there's not secretly a Canadian already working in the position. Usually the best answer here is, I am overwhelmed as a business owner and therefore I need someone, a foreign worker, to come and fill the position. They may also ask about wage, overtime. Often then they'll go through the recruitment activities. So where did you post the ads? How long did you post them? Are they still ongoing? Make sure that your ads are still ongoing. This is a program requirement. And then they'll ask about those who you listed in your application and why they weren't hired. So make sure that you run through who applied and why they weren't suitable for the position. Next, they may go through specific program requirements. So a low wage application, the officer may ask about where the foreign worker will be living and who's paying for it. High wage, they may ask about your transition plan, so what you're going to do to try to not hire foreign workers in the future. Or if you're supporting a permanent resident application, they may just ask the name and where the foreign worker lives. Next, they may go through the job postings with you and your proof of advertisements, as well as your proof of business legitimacy. If the officer asks you anything super specific about the application, your proof of business legitimacy, they want additional evidence, your answer should be yes, we'll get that to you. Take notes during the call and follow up with the officer with the required evidence as quickly as possible. The only time I've ever had a refusal in the last 5 years is when the employer said, I'll get it to you, and never gave the officer the document. And so the officer, despite us asking for extension, said, it's been a week, I'm refusing the application. So you need to give them that required documentation right away. It's very important in an application. Lastly, they may go through the details of the job offer. Make sure that you know the details of the job offer and when it was signed. Make sure your job offer is signed after you did the advertisements. Little things like this. Just make sure that you are ready to answer any questions and don't be nervous. It is more of a conversation. There are certain officers who are a little bit adversarial, but for the most part, it's more of a conversation than an adversarial process. That's everything today on the LMIA interview and what to expect during a call. If you have any questions regarding the LMIA application and how we can help with your application to the government, please get in touch. We're online at calverimmigrationservices.com.